a new robot virus breaks out all over the world, and strangely enough, only 8 of them go on a violent rampage. You would think Wily would be behind this, but he's actually looking for a way to cure them. So while Dr. Light and Dr. Wily work together to make a vaccine, Proto Man teams up with Megaman to go stop the rampaging robots. After the 10th iteration of this series, I shouldn't have to explain how the gameplay mechanics work, but as a reviewer, it would be very lazy of me to skip that part. So for the few of you who haven't played a Mega Man game yet, here's how this action platformer works. You start off by selecting one of the 8 stages, you go from point A to point B, encounter the boss, defeat the boss, take their weapon, move on to the next stage. Finding out which boss is the easiest to go after, and then finding out the rest of the pattern from there on out, is actually half of the fun. It really is. Unfortunately, that part of the fun dies off pretty fast once you learn the pattern, but fans of the series should be used to that by now. Mega Man has the same abilities as he had before. He's only able to jump and shoot. If you want to be able to slide and charge up your shot, then you'll have to play as Proto Man, who is playable at the very beginning of the game instead of a downloadable content as he was in Mega Man 9. Proto Man also has 2 other special traits. Every time he enters a stage, you'll hear his iconic whistle, and if you jump and don't shoot, he'll use his shield to block attacks, as long as it's not bigger than him. So why would you want to play as Mega Man instead of Proto Man? Well, because Proto Man takes twice as much damage. He also can't shoot his Mega Buster that fast, and for a charged up shot that takes so long that it only does the same amount of damage as 3 regular shots, is really not that useful. But it does add a whole new layer to the game as being able to play as 2 different characters. There's a third one, but you'll have to pay for him. As with previous Mega Man games, each Robot Master has its own layout and design. For example, Chill Man, yes, he is called Chill Man, is mostly made up of ice, meaning you'll be slipping around a lot, as well as having to crack through these ice blocks. Solar Man has you going through conveyor belts, and avoiding those fire guys that look like they were ripped right out of Mega Man 1. Strike Man has you going through a sport-themed arena. Nitro Man has you avoiding some buses. And Commando Man, honestly, who here didn't have a hard time getting through that sandstorm at first? Because you couldn't see where you were going and could be pushed into a bottomless pit or into spikes. Until you learned how to ride the sandstorm, and then it was actually kind of fun. And once you've beaten all the 8 Robot Masters, you'll learn that Wily has stolen the medicine-making machine and will only give the medicine to those who join him. So guess where you're going next. Once you're there, you'll take on some new and old obstacles. The bosses also need some noting. Within the first stage, you'll take on 9 of the robots that were in the previous Mega Man games, which is a very cool feature for all the fans of Mega Man who have played through all the games. And you'll take on this character that seems like a combination between the Yellow Devil from Mega Man 1 and those wall platforms from Mega Man 2. The save feature, time attack, challenge list, downloadable content, and menu shop are still there. The only new additions that have been added into Mega Man 10 is more downloadable content, a second playable character right away, in easy and hard mode, though I'll probably never touch the easy mode. In hard mode, the stage layouts are still the same, but enemy placement is different. Bosses also take a lot more hits, and they're either faster or have more attacks. A quick select mode that'll allow you to switch between your weapons and items without the need to go to the pause screen. Though if you're using the Wii remote, you may accidentally press the B button and switch to a weapon that you didn't need, thus making it a bit more frustrating, and no, there's no way to turn it off. And something I'm sure a lot of you have already forgotten, the little headline at the beginning when you fight the bosses or sub-bosses that tells you who they are and what difficulty they're on. As far as any negative factors go, there really aren't that many. Well, to be honest, some of the weapons seem completely useless in certain areas, such as the Thunder Wool. It only seemed useful when fighting Pump Man. The only ones I thought were the most useful were the Triple Blade, the Commando Bomb, and the Wheel Cutter. I barely used anything else. And just to point this out, the Rebound Striker acts a lot like the Gemini Laser from Mega Man 3. In fact, they almost point it out to you during the game. Almost like they're trying to say, we ran out of ideas. Music has always been an important part of the Mega Man series as well. This one, however, well, I'm gonna just say half of it is awesome and the other half is somewhat, forgettable. To be honest though, I thought the ending was anticlimactic and out of character. Definitely one of the worst ones in the series, in my opinion. Though since Mega Man's never really been heavy on story, it's not really that much of an issue. Though to be completely honest, I was far more impressed with Mega Man 10 than I was with Mega Man 9. The game seemed to be a bit more challenging, and relied more on obstacles and instant death traps instead of just relying on instant death traps. The game cost 200 points less, And you're also able to play as one of the downloadable content that you had to pay for in the previous game, as well as having another character as downloadable content with 3 stages that can give you extra additional add-ons to the weapons. All I can say to that is, nicely done. It's obvious that Capcom doesn't want to try and change things up. I guess I can't blame them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And as long as they're adding characters that can make new changes to the gameplay itself, I guess that's really all I can ask for at this point. A 5 out of 5. It's a great game to add to your collection.